and welcome to this TAIPAN webcast. We will introduce to you the TAIPAN penetration testing platform. And basically, we want to start with our vision and our philosophy, which is to help you unlock potential of offensive security. When we are talking about offensive security, we are mainly referring to penetration testing. And in defining penetration testing, adversarial security, or offensive security, which are words you can use interchangeably, we are talking about the simulated cyber attack by an ethical hacker against your systems in order to check for exploitable vulnerabilities. So you might ask yourself, why offensive security? And the reason why we want companies to focus on offensive security is that all the companies out there have defensive control mechanisms. But the problem with these defense measures is that these controls, they fail. Most importantly, they fail constantly and silently. So you have mechanisms of defense, but will they really stand a real life cyber attack? You never know. And when you look at the studies, basically in a study by Verizon, they found out that 82% of enterprise breaches should have been stopped by existing security controls, meaning you have made the right choices in terms of defensive strategy, but these defenses, they really didn't work as they were supposed to be. So at TAIPAN, we say that defensive security is not enough and that the best defense is a good offense. So offensive security is the answer. So there's a new dilemma that you have to think about, which is how you balance defensive security with offensive security. And in terms of offensive security adoption level, you may be in one of the few levels that we will be showing in the next slide, which is level 1. You have no offensive security strategy, and you have to start thinking about offensive security. You may have limited penetration testing going on if you are in level 2, but you mainly do it with third-party pen testing companies. The level 3 will be where you start to have an in-house team. Could be 1, 2, or 3 penetration testers, and you complement that with third-party penetration testing. And then the last level, which is the most sophisticated one, where you will have red teams, blue teams, and you will even engage in exercises like war games, and you will really stress test your infrastructure and your applications on a very constant level. And you will complement that, of course, with still third-party penetration testing agencies. These are really needed because they are externals, they have a different perspective on things. So these are the different adoption levels of penetration testing. And TAIPAN offers different values for each one of these levels. Now, in terms of best practices, when it comes to offensive security, and this is for companies who are doing penetration testing, but in order to be cyber resilient, you basically need to do pen testing with the right best practices. And at TAIPAN, we follow the below model. So basically, you need to do routine pen tests. So they could be every 3 months, every 6 months, every month, depending on the criticality of your data. But you need to have routine pen tests because the routine pen tests will enable you to find configuration errors, to find some weak links in your organization that happen due to the human error factor. So this mechanism is very, very important and is going to improve the return on investment on your defensive mechanism, because this is the stress test to your defense mechanisms that happen on a regular basis. The second thing is all companies depend on applications. You have critical applications. You need to secure these applications. So every time you basically release a new version of your applications, you have to do a pen test. Every time there is a change to your applications, the critical ones, you have to do a pen test. So this is a new routine that you have to incorporate. And then there are the pen tests that you have to do for regulation purposes, banks, are required by central banks to do regular pen testing, just like insurance companies. And then there are the pen tests you do for certification purposes. Could be an ISO certification, could be PCI DSS. And then there is the general rule of you do a pen test every time there is a significant change. And significant change is a question that you have to answer yourself. So it could be that you're moving data from on-prem to the cloud, you're moving applications from on-prem to the cloud, you need to do a pen test. You may have uh, acquired a new company and you are in the process of integrating their IT into yours. You have to do a pen test here because that's a significant change. Or it could even be an application that you just launched that interfaces with your suppliers. This is also a change that might bring with it a level of risk that you have to make sure that it doesn't impact your infrastructure on a regular basis. And then the last thing is the vertical based pen testing, depending on the industry you're in. You could be in an industry where you have a lot of industrial systems. So there is specific pen tests that have to happen for industrial control systems, SCADA systems. And then you could be in an industry where you have a lot of IoT devices out there. You have to do pen tests for these devices. So I think here we already agreed that offensive is very important and there is a proper way to do it, looking at the best practices that we defined as TAIPAN. But what's stopping customers and what's stopping you from doing more pen tests today? And we are referring here to the pen testing with the third-party entities. And you will see that the traditional way of doing things is mined with challenges for customers. So this is usually the sequence. So you have an application that you want to pen test. You basically involve a third-party penetration testing company. They will basically quote you based on the effort estimation that you give them. Let's say 15 man days, which is the typical pen test period for a certain application. Multiply that by $1,500 per man day if you're looking for a good skilled penetration tester. This is not the top of the cream. This is not the cheap penetration testing with limited experience. These are reasonable, good quality pen testers. So the company will send you a pen tester to your office, or he will perform the pen test remotely. Basically, the challenge that comes here is that the pen tester will install a bunch of hacking tools, and let's call these tools what they really are. And the pen tester, who is an external person at the end of the day, is going to get a privileged access to your network. You have no idea what the pen tester has done or is doing during these 15 days. It's really a black box for you. And after 15 days, you'll get a report. And then based on that report, you will start the remediation. So there are a lot of red flags here with the traditional pen testing, and they all revolve around security of people, of processes, transparency of the pen testing exercise, the speed, be it the speed of doing the pen test or the speed of remediation. And then there is the cost efficiency part. So when we talk to CISOs and IT managers, what they told us is that what they worry about is what are the tools that the pen testers are using on my infrastructure? What's happening in real time? Is there an audit trail of everything the pen tester executed? What if there is a data leak? What if the pen tester leaves a backdoor? Um, it could be not even maliciously, it could be by mistake. And then the pen tester also, they have a lot of worries. How can I make sure that my pen test is safe? How can I execute pen tests safer and faster? And how can I improve my productivity? So basically, when you look at the traditional pen testing, this is what is costing you today. Risk of data leaks, risk of backdoors, hacking tools installed in your systems, or hacking tools exposing and getting access to your systems, privileged knowledge with a third-party pen tester, unsafe pen testing practices, be it the laptops that are filled with hacking tools that connect to your infrastructure, or uh, the hacking programs installed in the cloud and then accessing your data remotely through VPN or through sometimes VDI, uh, saying that this is end-to-end encryption. It's going to make the exercise a little bit safer. No, it doesn't. It's still a very unsafe pen testing practice. And then there is the audit and forensics nightmare. So during 15 days, somebody came to your organization, did so many things that are not on your radar. You could be having intrusion detection, intrusion prevention systems, but these will barely get 20% of what the pen tester is doing. There are a zillion things that he can do that will be under and below your radar uh, level. There is the oversized pen testing bills, and then most importantly, you are not pen testing enough because you're seeing all of these challenges. So you stick to the minimum of required pen testing, and that's not a good thing. So with TAIPAN, you can basically do more secure, transparent, and cost-effective pen tests. And what you should know is that TAIPAN has been built with history that enables it to be best suited to answer all of these problems. You have a group of pen testers who have fantastic experience and exposure to very, very large and critical enterprises, be it in the government space or in the banking space, insurance, industrial companies who really worry about their intellectual property. So these guys, they saw these challenges as pen testers in terms of safety of the pen test, in terms of productivity, in terms of being able to execute multiple things at the same time, and to be able to industrialize your pen test. But also they saw these challenges that customers suffer from. They saw that customers are really suffering from this lack of transparency, from the lack of security, and that they want to do more pen tests, but the way things are designed today makes them just stick to the bare minimum. So TAIPAN has been built by a group of very skilled pen testers, and they built this solution for pen testers and also for enterprises. And TAIPAN was launched in 2018, and now TAIPAN is really taking a global uh, reach to all enterprise markets out there to democratize the offensive security using the TAIPAN platform. So the unique thing about TAIPAN, and this is one of the great features, is that we basically give you an appliance. This appliance is a Linux x86 server ciphered with military grade encryption. This box, you put it inside your network. And from this box, you will have all the hacking tools the ethical hackers need already installed. And from this box, you take any pen tester, be it a pen tester who is an in-house pen tester to you, or any external pen tester with a third-party company, you give him an access, a user access to TAIPAN, and from it, he will execute his pen tests. And you as a customer, you will have a dashboard, you will follow things in real time, and you'll be able to control your penetration testing strategy. So this removes a lot of friction, this removes a lot of problems related to traditional pen testing. So this is a platform for offensive security. And as we said, it's designed for two stakeholders. CISOs and IT managers, they will basically get the supervisor access. And then the pen tester will get a pen tester access. So what's unique about TAIPAN is that CISOs and IT managers will be able to control their offensive tools to be used by the pen testers. They will get real-time notifications of everything the pen tester executes. They will see the bigger picture with these dashboards, and they will have the assurance that nothing leaves the network, no backdoors, no data leaks. At the same time, pen testers will be able to industrialize and get more productive with their pen tests, they will build and organize their pen tests using the TAIPAN framework. And when you think of what TAIPAN basically saves you, so first, no data leaks, no risk of backdoors, no hacking tools installed in your systems. And this is a very, very important point. Limited privilege knowledge with third-party pen testers, because you can divide a certain pen test to different pen testers. Every pen tester will get access to only certain tools. He will not be able to navigate in your network without somebody supervising the whole thing. There is audit logs of everything the pen tester executes. So this adds a layer of security and an assurance to the pen testing exercise. And then it's a safe penetration testing practice. We are not installing hacking tools on laptops. We are not installing hacking tools in the cloud and VPN access. So we install everything on the server, ciphered with military grade encryption. You put the server inside your network. You protect it with all your defense firewall mechanisms, and you basically remove all the challenges related to the data leaks and backdoors. So this is really one of the safest penetration testing platforms out there in the market. You have full audit logs. You can control your third-party pen testing builds because you see everything as they happen. So if a mission of 15 days basically requires less, you will be able to see that. You see what the pen tester is executing in real time every day. So you can make sure that there is something going on in the right direction for every pen test on a regular basis using your supervisor access. And then most importantly, this gives you the ability to pen test more often, because you can now hire a junior pen tester. You give him supervisor access. When the third party comes in to perform the pen test, the third party will have the pen test user access. Your junior pen tester will be all able to follow and shadow what the pen tester will do. He will learn from this exercise. He will have a platform where he can execute things in a safe way, and this will improve and reduce his learning curve. So here are 5 reasons why TAIPAN is revolutionizing the penetration testing space. So first, transparency. We give you back control over your pen testing strategy. You see everything, you control everything, and you can decide and steer up things to the direction you want it to. It's the safest pen testing platform because of the appliance, because it's a server, because it's inside your network, because no hacking tools have to be installed. Everything already installed on the appliance. It's a very powerful attack platform in a sense that we are using the open source tools of hacking. And let's face it, hacking is an open source movement. So it's not proprietary, but at the same time, most of the hacking tools, a lot of them are command line interfaces. So we give the option of the pen testers to use a command line interface from TAIPAN, but we also give him templates and a GUI that will help him execute pen tests in a much faster way. It will help him save time without going for the need of searching for commands. He can see everything and he can execute things much faster. It's the most secure pen testing platform because there is no risk of data leaks and there is no risk of backdoors. And we made it super easy to consume. It's a subscription, be it for the software and also for the hardware. In terms of deployment, we basically have 2 ways to deploy TAIPAN. So you have an appliance that will access your whole infrastructure, or you can have the appliance and with it, software engines that you put for every VLAN and for every remote data center, for example. So the engines are optional. The goal of the engine is that you limit the number of open ports so that you get the engine to do the work for the appliance. So that way you can segregate the access to the appliance looking at the different VLANs or the different remote networks that you want to have segregated. In terms of licensing, super easy. We use a user-based subscription license. Uh, you look at the number of pen testers and the number of supervisors that will access the system, and you license these. The minimum user licenses are 2, and the minimum has to be the starting point, 1 pen tester or 1 supervisor. You cannot have a pen tester working without a supervisor, and you cannot have a supervisor without a pen tester. So the minimum is 1-1, and then you can have multiple pen testers with only 1 supervisor. That's basically your call. There is a TAIPAN compute, that is the appliance that we license as a subscription, and then there are the engines for VLANs and remote networks, and these are basically optional. Very quickly, we're going to show you a TAIPAN offline demo. So in terms of TAIPAN users, we have 3 kinds of users. So there's the administrator who will set up the accounts, who will service the appliance, but you will mainly interact with TAIPAN as either a supervisor or a pen tester. This is the pen tester view. So basically, this is the TAIPAN dashboard. Sorry, this is the supervisor view, and this is basically the supervisor dashboard. Projects are your pen tests, and then targets are the hosts in each of the pen tests you have. So you could have an application that, or 3 applications that are comprised of 6 targets. The first thing that will happen is a vulnerability scan. The vulnerability scanners are basically tools that have databases of common vulnerabilities, and based on this database, there will be a scan that will happen on the targets. And then if the target has certain characteristics, the tool will come up with vulnerabilities related to these targets. So we do 2 things here. We either integrate with your vulnerability scanner of choice, could be a Tenable Nessus, could be a Rapid7 Nexpose. We can read that data and include it over here. Or you can use the vulnerability scanner that come out of the box from TAIPAN. The problem now with vulnerability scanning is that you will get a lot of false positives. Chances are you will not know which ones are very critical, which ones can really lead to an exploit. And this is where is the value of the TAIPAN appliance. So the TAIPAN appliance is the platform that enables the pen tester to use his skills in order to move from this stage, which is the vulnerability stage, to the exploitability and to validating whether this vulnerability could lead to an exploit. This is what you really care as a CISO or as an IT security professional here. The exploits. The exploits are the machines or the applications that could be hacked. So if you have a hole in your application or in your infrastructure, you want to find out about this as it happens and as the pen tester finds it. So the beauty of the TAIPAN platform is that the moment there is an exploit, you will get a notification in the application and by email that there is a specific exploit, and you'll be able to take the remediation action as quickly as possible and give a call to your development team to fix the code, or give a call to your IT team to fix the configuration problem. You have the costing here, which is based on the man days cost. And based on the timing, you will be able to see the cost of every penetration test. You have then data related to the vulnerabilities and exploited devices in a very, very easy to read form. So this is now the pen tester view. The pen tester also has a dashboard, which is similar to the supervisor dashboard. It's just that he doesn't see the cost of the pen test in question. And then the pen testing basically starts with a project, and a project is a pen test. You can see here that when the pen tester is trying to start the pen test, he basically has to select the supervisor. So there's always a supervisor shadowing the pen tester. And then the pen tester would basically start the pen test, and he has reconnaissance tools, attack tools, and these basically cover 95% of what the pen tester needs in terms of tools. If the pen tester needs to add other tools, he can do it, and you will be able to see what tool he added. It's just that it's not going to be in this uh, GUI fashion that we developed here. But if you have a specific tool that you want to integrate in TAIPAN, we can basically do it in a few business days, depending on the complexity of the tool. And then if the pen tester has developed his own payloads, his own scripts, he also has a Python interpreter, a command line interface, he can execute these. So the platform is very open, and you can take any pen tester from any third-party company. Very, very quickly, he will be able to use TAIPAN, and he will be able, uh, he won't need extensive training on TAIPAN because it's already the tools that he knows. Just that these tools are implemented with a GUI interface and with scripts and with templates that helps them do things much faster. So we start with the recon. This is Nmap. The traditional tool is a command line interface. It's very simple here. You just think of the type of scan you want to do. You type stealth and you select it from the drop-down menu. You put the IP address and you click on launch. This is the result of a vulnerability scan. You have vulnerabilities classified by severity. You have the details of the vulnerabilities with the links to the CVE database that refers to that common vulnerability and exposure. You have a scoring, and you basically move to the next stage. And this is where you need pen testers. Automated solutions will never be able to replicate what the pen testers have in their arsenal of attack. So the productivity and the creativity of the pen tester cannot be replaced by any solution. So don't try to go for the easy road. You need a skilled pen tester. He thinks like a hacker. He will go for things that will truly make you, that will truly surprise you. And this is the kind of consultancy, the kind of added value that you need. You want to know how a cyber criminal might attack your system. So don't go for the easy uh, automated solutions out there that are just uh, simplified solutions to hacking. So they will go for the path of least resistance, for the obvious things. The obvious things, chances are your firewalls and your current security mechanisms can protect you from that. You want the sophisticated things, and sophisticated things need people. So that's why when we created this platform, it's basically a platform that helps pen testers uh, spread their wings and use their skills to find security holes in your infrastructure and to help you then fix these holes before cybercriminals find them. So this is, for example, SQL Map, which is a SQL injection tool. It's a very simplified uh, attack solution here with a couple of fields that you have to fill, and then you just press the launch button. So now this is an exploit. You can see that out of this specific pen test project, you can see that this host is vulnerable to Eternal Blue malware through the port 445. This is the result of a Metasploit attack. From here, you can launch a interpreter session and interact with the machine. You can take a screenshot, you can reboot the machine, you can shut down the machine, you could do privilege escalation, you can pivot to another machine. So there are a zillion things that you can do. And this really is done with the goal of getting you to the stage that we call the loots. And the loots are basically proof of hacking. You will have an in-house pen tester or an external pen tester coming in to help you with pen testing a specific application. What you want to see is a proof of hack. And here you can see it's a screenshot. It could be a file that the pen tester looted from that specific machine. This is your proof that that specific machine is vulnerable. And from here, you will take the remediation actions. And from here, you can basically just stop the pen test. If it's, for example, a database, you know it's vulnerable to a specific uh, type of payloads, and you want it to stop because it might impact your production systems. So you can basically end that pen test immediately. So all this happens while you, the customer, keep an eye on everything. And that's the main value proposition of TAIPAN. We didn't create an offensive security only for pen testers. We did something while keeping in mind that you, the customer, want to be engaged in this exercise of penetration testing, because you have to balance your defensive security with offensive security. And in order to do that, you need to do it with the right best practices that are routine pen tests, that are pen tests for every critical applications. Every time there is a new code that is released, pen testing, looking at the regulations, and pen testing, looking at the certifications you want to get, and then pen testing every time there is a significant change, besides also the pen test for vertical based industries. So you want to you need to follow the pen testing with the right best practices, and you need to do more pen tests. And our platform basically allows you to do that more often using in-house or third-party pen testers, but to do it in a much safer way, and to do it while you control things, while you have the audit logs, while you are involved in the process at every step of the pen test. Thank you for your time today. And if you want to know more about TAIPAN, please visit www.taipancyber.com. Uh, and please don't hesitate to contact us in case you need further information. Thank you.